2 speakers, 2 presentations, 32 minutes. Just. Oh, yes. Oh, it's not working. So I'll tell Susan about that as well.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Mayor Pro Tem Becerra, I'd like to go ahead and call the Public Safety and Homeless City Council Standing Subcommittee to order. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Becerra,
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza. And just to confirm, Councilmember Hernandez is not present.
Okay, thank you for that. We've got both. If we could please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Chief, would you lead us?
Ready? Begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chief. Before we jump into the rest of the agenda, I want to ask our city attorney, Mr. Fung, since we are a new committee, should we at this time possibly select a chair and vice chair?
Yes, I would recommend as a first measure that before the proceedings begin today, you vote to select a chair like yourselves for the purposes of presiding over this meeting today as an administrative matter, with the understanding that an agenda item, including bylaws and the selection of chair on a going forward basis, would come before you at the next meeting.
Councilmember Mendoza, do you want to arm wrestle or?
I would want to remove this echo.
Set that.
I will make a motion I will nominate Council Member Joe Becerra to be the president of the city.
I accept that. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to nominate you for vice chair.
I would love to accept that.
All right, so that out of the way. I'd like to take public comment out of order. I know we have presentations first, but we only have one public comment.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Should I just read it here or podium feels a bit overkill?
She's the presentation. Right?
She is the public comment.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
Sorry. And you are? Please.
Sure, my name is Patricia Bauer, and I'm a
It's
proud
actually
Patricia Park resident here in Santa Ana. I'm also the Orange County Youth Lead with Moms Demand Action. We are one of the largest grassroots advocacy networks in the country with nearly 8 million supporters and volunteers working to end gun violence in all its forms. Tonight, I'm representing the hundreds of supporters and volunteers who live and work in Santa Ana. First, I'm so appreciative to the committee for holding this special meeting tonight to consider the secure gun storage ordinance that was introduced to the City Council in February. This proposed ordinance goes right to the heart of public safety. While California has some of the strongest gun laws on the books, and we see proof of their efficacy in our statistics, there is still a lot more that we can do to help reduce gun violence in our communities. More than half of gun owners in the United States do not lock all of their firearms securely, leading to unauthorized use and an estimated 200,000 to 500,000 guns stolen every year, with tens of thousands of guns stolen right here in California. And we know that there are many more lost and stolen guns that go unreported. And today, the CDC released numbers showing that 2020 saw the highest number of gun homicides ever recorded in the United States, surging up by 35%. And also just this week, a new report from Everytown for Gun Safety, and this report is based on FBI crime statistics, shows that gun theft in cars and vehicles tripled in the last decade, further exacerbated by the pandemic. Many of these stolen guns are funneled into the underground market, where once legally owned firearms can be transferred to people with dangerous histories, presenting not just a danger to the community, but also to law enforcement. We are all safer when guns are stored locked, unloaded, and separate from ammunition. When gun-owning households lock both firearms and ammunition, there is a 78% lower risk of gun suicide and injury, and an 85% lower risk of unintentional firearm injuries among children and teens. In addition, there's a wide variety of affordable options for firearm storage that provide owners with quick access to their guns while still preventing access by children and people at increased risk of harming themselves or others. I also wanted to take this chance to briefly answer a few of the questions posed at the February council meeting about the proposed ordinance language. First, while California has a child access prevention state law, there is no state law requiring all gun
30
owners to store
seconds.
their firearms securely. This ordinance would close that loophole here in Santa Ana. In addition, the model language does not criminalize violations, whether we strongly suggest a fine. It also provides for gun owners to transport their
15
weapons if
seconds.
they're going to a shooting range or otherwise carry on their person in accordance with all applicable laws. The language also allows exemptions for law enforcement and federally licensed firearms dealers. Additionally, we also have a nonpartisan public education campaign called Be Smart,
Time.
and we often work with cities and school districts to raise awareness about secure storage laws through this program. So tonight, I'm asking the committee to please support the secure gun storage ordinance, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Our next item on the agenda tonight is the presentation on police response times and district policing liaison program. That you, Chief?
Yes, that'd be me. You want me back here?
Sure.
I mean, so in terms of the camera, not that I want to be on camera.
All good, sir. Sure.
Okay, so this is our first meeting here, and so I realized that we're kind of setting the stage moving forward, right? And so we did have a rescheduled homelessness update, and that presenter was not available. We just had a presentation Tuesday night, so you're up to speed on that in terms of council members and the public as well. So moving forward, we'll have that component. So I just wanted to briefly cover a couple of pieces, and that is response times. And then I wanted to share with you a new program that's going to come on board really to tie in our district representation, district board representations in this next election cycle. So the first is our clicker's not working. We'll work it all that. Once you work, have a half portion. So response times, go back one. So we have 5 priorities. The first is immediate life, threat to life, and that is the highest threshold of calls for service that we receive. Priority 2 is threatens the safety of citizens, serious crimes in progress. And then priority 1 and 2, one of the changes that we really refined here, you'll see the results over a 3-year period here in a minute on another slide, was to dispatch any unit that's available, closest unit, any unit that's available. So we're divided into 4 policing districts, and through tradition and really paramilitary structure, what was in place was you only sent officers from that particular policing district to those calls for service. So the patch says Santa Ana, it does not say District 1, 2, 3, 4. So shifting that, we're able to focus on really prioritizing and dropping the call for service response time. Priority 3, non-life threatening, but still urgent in nature, transient loitering, which is a big call for service that we get in this area. Priority 4 is routine incidents, non-life threatening, cold reports, crimes that have already occurred with no suspect information. Lowest priority is number 5, parking issues, stray animals, patrol checks. We think we saw somebody in the neighborhood. Can you please send an officer to kind of cruise by? So here's the important critical slide here for you and for the public hearing, watching. You'll look at our average for 2019, 2020, 21 response times. Priority 1 down by 28%. Priority 2 down by nearly 9%, 3 nearly 12%, 4 8%, and then 5 31%. We also looked at traffic collisions and how we were responding there. We would hold those in the queue, which then created longer response times. So dispatchers, we started there with retraining them and really shifting a paradigm with them in how they can assess information initially, update information, and get first officers available to, especially to those priority calls for service. So you see 7 minutes and 46 seconds on average, someone would wait for that 911 critical life death response. And we are obviously a very densely populated city, depending on the time of day or night, it takes a little longer to traverse traffic. But fast forward here, last year average was 5 minutes and 31 seconds. So over 2 minutes faster on scene first unit. Okay, so for the district policing liaison program, what I envision there is we're moving to 6 representative districts with council members representing each of those districts, and then of course the mayor at large. So what we will do is assign a police officer, and it's really up to the individual council members if you want that support. It will be made available to you as your primary point of contact. You can still obviously reach to me or assistant chief or any of the command staff, but in terms of everyday and forecasting events, your quarterly community meetings, you want a person that you know, first name basis, cell phone, you can reach out to them at any time. And so one officer assigned for each district or start, and then the mayor position, I have a chief of staff that operates out of my immediate office. And so if the mayor's calling about something, I want to know as well. So that will be the person that the officer assigned to that position. And I hope to have this in place October of this year. So just a couple months prior to the election, we can work out any bugs. And again, I'm not going to impose on the council members. If you tell me that you're not interested, no problem. But it'll be a resource, and we'll work together on what your needs are and selection and placement. And we want it to work for everyone. So, any questions?
Well, thank you for the presentation, Chief. I had a couple things. One, I like the idea of having a contact. I've said this to you, and I'll say it out loud that I think one of the things that for people in the city, even though we have close to 400 officers, many people in the city can't identify a single officer. I'm not saying everybody. I think those that are engaged with PD is engaged back, but there are a lot of folks that don't have that relationship with PD, which allows for the risks that do exist in certain areas. But I like this as a step in the right direction to have somebody that not only the council member can identify with, but this would be somebody that I envision I would say to my board, hey, this is the person that is our connection to PD that we can ask the questions of, whether it's, like you said earlier, going to the priorities, someone just, what do we do about certain people in the neighborhood versus a particular type of crime that's proliferating? So my I guess, like I said, this is a step in the right direction, but I would say what we need are officers, plural, that are dedicated to an area. I know you're mentioning that with the response times, the idea is that taps the Santa Ana PD, not District 1, District 2, but at the same time, certain crimes that are happening in a certain part of the city with certain individuals are not happening in other parts of the city. And so I think that's something I'd like you to explore, especially as we're coming up on our budget, to talk about how we can have officers, plural, dedicated to areas of the city. And then as far as response times, I guess maybe at a subsequent point, I would like to see how these compare with other cities.
Sure.
I'm sure they compare well. In fact, maybe it's more of a bragging right for us, but I'd like to see what those, how they hold up to other cities.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Just no questions, just comments that I think it's a very good idea to get back to community information where the neighborhood is comfortable and they have established relationship with the police officers in your area. So that we have
more of back to basics when my kids were growing up, we would have the police officers meetings and they would bring the dogs to another equipment to show them. And my kids grew up very comfortable speaking with police officers. It's kind of changed, but I'm glad to see that this is going to bring it back around so that we can get more into the neighborhoods in this way. And I do like the idea of having assign a person to each of the council members so that you could probably take care of some issues a little faster. So that the public will see that the police officers, our department is listening, and we have their interests in mind, and that we are our number one priority as a city, as a police department, is to keep our neighborhoods safe. And a very good start in this way by giving us council people, we're the representatives of the residents in our wards. We are the eyes and ears for security, among other things. But I believe that this is going to be a very positive change that will definitely make more of a trusting relationship with our police department and our neighborhoods.
Thank you for those comments. So we have on the agenda is the absences. I don't think we'll have to worry about that just yet. So if you don't mind, we'll just jump right into the business calendar. So do we have a presentation on the secure gun storage initiative?
Not a presentation, more so just the suggested language that was brought forward and for your review and to determine or provide direction to staff moving forward.
Well, you know, on something like this, I would really want to have a full committee to weigh in on it. I know that Councilmember Hernandez is not here today, and I hate to do this, but I would recommend that maybe we continue this for the next meeting, just so we can have a more robust discussion on that. Would you be okay with that?
I'm fine with continuing that.
Okay, so we could, let's go ahead and do that just so we can have, again, a more thorough discussion on that. I know the chief wants our meeting a bit longer, but I'm sorry, sir, we're just gonna, we're wrapping up at this point, so. Councilmember Mendoza, if you have any other comments?
On this safe storage ordinance, in addition to the continuance, that we have our staff to look at the post ordinance, so we can start working on it. We really probably differentiate, or maybe it's similar to the state already has. So well, but I just want to have this already looked at by our staff.
That's a good point. It's kind of come forward to be complimentary, not different, so it's good. With that, the only other item I have, so just to confirm with so our next meeting, as far as any sort of organizational items that we get out before us, as far as bylaws or any other items, otherwise structure of the committee, is there anything that really bring back to us at the next meeting?
Yes, we'll work with staff to develop bylaws for the police approval, and also at that point in time, we'll make the selection of a short-term chair.
Fantastic. Well, at this point, I'm not sure what staffing envision, but I'm thinking at the very least, we should probably convene this committee at least once a month. If we need to do more than obviously the difference for those to schedule. And certainly those would be okay with that, at least for starting out.
Monthly is a great starting point because I think we have more than enough issues that need to be taken care of on a monthly basis, and that we get to be even more now.
Okay, we'll start with monthly and then we two will have more. With that, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting to No.
No,
There was
there was one.
there was a question, someone asked, there was one, and then someone via Zoom has since asked a question, but that was after the public comment section closed, unless you would like to. But we,
I guess, what was the question?
we didn't provide the question. So I think we're.
All right, meeting adjourned.